Okay, so we're gonna call this meeting to order at 6:04. Is that clock right? 6:04. Yeah. Okay. The last time I looked at it, it was an hour off. Okay. So we'll start with any changes or additions to the agenda. No? Okay, all budget, all the way? Okay, I'll take a motion to approve the minutes of December 5th, 2023. Colleen moves.
Second.
Okay. Beth is a second. Okay, okay, is there any discussion? Again, I want to thank Leanne for very concise, easy to read minutes. Okay, so we'll move to a vote, and since Hannah's remote, we'll go roll call. So Colleen.
Aye.
Beth. Hannah.
Aye.
And I abstain. So, because I was not here. Because I don't approve. Okay, so that was 3-0 with one abstention. Okay, public participation or announcements. Happy New Year?
Yeah.
It's 2024. I don't know what happened to 2023. Okay, well, we are chugging right along.
Check, check, and check.
Check, check, and check. Okay, so we're on to the administrative report.
All right. And this is a quick one. There's not much to this, and then we'll get into kind of where we're at. We are at with the budget towards the end of this report. So I wanted to just include some highlights. We had a fantastic band concert just shortly before break. It really I didn't even know how many people were there, but the gym was packed in the best way. It was amazing. We had some fun kind of spirit type days before, a pajama day, another sweater day, and just had some fun before we went out to break. It was awesome. So I wanted to include winter activity numbers for you all. So we've got 136 that took skiing, 44 swimming, 38 bowling, 26 board games, outdoor fun, 15 floor hockey is 9, basketball 7, and theater is 6. And we have tweaked how we're doing this slightly for some of the ones that are in-house. So we noticed that with the exception of skiing, swimming, and bowling, because they're outside and people leave, that takes the whole afternoon time. But for the ones that are located here, we noticed that, hour-ish, a little over an hour in, kids are starting to get a little antsy. So then what we've decided to do, with a great suggestion of one of our primary teachers, is to split it in half. So students are able to choose like something for the first hour or so and then something different for the second hour to kind of help keep everyone engaged and participating.
And so the kids that are choosing to stay here is like why? Like it sounds like if they're getting bored after an hour, maybe the choice to stay here is like
Maybe everyone needs to go.
well, yeah, or I mean maybe it is something that they really like, but because it's a building and for an hour it gets old.
I think that's it. Because all of them are definitely aware that they can choose any of the
Yeah.
that are there.
Okay.
And I think it's probably just like, after a period of time, they're just ready to do something different.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Right, yeah, like, do you really want to play basketball with, 7 kids for happy hours? That kind of thing.
Yep.
And Wes, I will hand it over to you.
Okay.
Awesome.
Wait, are you?
Oh, that was weird. I think is that the
Okay,
next one?
yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. So December, yay. I was kind of on the nose, but I'm not giving much this holiday spirit. Just because everyone, especially because there was no snow, we were all having to hold on to the hope of good holidays. General news, middle school had kind of like a party-ish last day of break. That was a lot of fun. We had like a dance kind of thing. We had a fashion show, and we had like a bunch of these like stations that I've in my whole time of Hartland never seen go that well. Everyone just had so much fun. And then there was lots of different colds and stuff. Everything
Still going.
what I heard was everything like pushed through and everything went very well in general. And then like you said, the concert went really well. Also, some sickness issues with people missing, but
I know.
Every-
So sad.
there, yep. But everything went really well. And it was lots of fun. I think the 4th grade band has never been that big, like ever.
Yeah.
Largest trombone section ever.
Yeah.
My daughter, one of them. She's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right, Wes. I think this is the largest 4th grade band.
I think
At
at
least
least
that
that
grade
is
is
like,
Yeah.
every single
How big are they?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
There's 26 in the 4th grade, and I think out of the 26 of them, I think 20 of them are like,
Yeah.
they are all
Awesome.
they're adorable. They're the cute.
So I did 6th grade report, and when I did the day I did the survey, I think half of them were out sick. So the question
Back to the
pool
previous
was a
slide.
little bit smaller. So the projects, we're doing a trifold project in one of our ELA classes on books that we read in another ELA. So very nicely here together. What went best in December? I know it's a shocker that these are the questions, but it's not, the individually grades. Lots of people said projects and being able to get a lot of things done, which I think is very, very like true and works with all the, at least the whole middle school. From what I've heard, it seems like most people. What I'm most looking forward to winter activities was definitely the big thing. And if you had to choose one word, it was fun and cold, which seems to line up very well with those words. But yeah.
I would argue it could have been colder.
I know.
Yeah.
I was in the 60s the other days.
I know.
Pouring rain.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Wet.
Fun, cold, and rainy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
pass around some chocolates. My mom's like chocolate. Just open it up.
Thank you.
Yeah, some chocolate if you're allergic to nuts or anything else.
Thank you.
And some upcoming events, winter activities, speaking of West, begin not tomorrow, but next Wednesday. I'll put an announcement in the Wildcat Weekly right at the top, just reminding people that it's next Wednesday. That the 16th is a no school with an in-service day. And Friday the 19th is Camp Read Aloud. It's the first time we've done this. It's a Title I event where we are going to have Ravens, it's a raptor, right? The raptor Ravens that's going to be here. Fun, lots of fun things, all related to books and reading each one grade.
Can you describe what this is? Because it's K through 3, but like, what is this?
So it's definitely a parent night. We're gonna have an entire session just for parents. We'll have tips and things set up in the back for our upper graders to be reading to our little kids that are in tents. And they'll be doing this great read aloud. And then it's a parent presentation of how to promote literacy in your home. And then we'll have bins. We're gonna have a canoe out in the gym where people can fish for nonfiction books and take them home. We're gonna have an entire forest for families to walk through with their students and learn about animals, and they'll be like making cake. And then we're gonna have a camping dinner that people can purchase if they would like for their family, which will be a hot dog and juice or water, and it'll be very creamy.
Is there
I'm
a
so excited.
campfire and are there s'mores?
And there are, we're doing kind of a s'mores. So we're gonna have a big campfire out on the slate foyer with camp songs by Mr. Foley. So everyone's gonna be able to join and sing. And then we'll have s'more baggies with like cinnamon toast crunch and marshmallows and chocolate in it. Eat those around the campfire, and it's a great night. And it's geared towards K3, just to how we really promote literacy at home and get kids excited about it.
is are older kids allowed to?
Yeah, yes,
fourth grade?
yes, so if you had a fourth grader, because you have another child that's a first grader, absolutely,
Okay,
yes, yeah, but it's geared towards our little ones. And then we'll have all of our middle schoolers helping assist in every section and getting their hours in as well, and just supporting all of our littles because we're family. That's how we do it.
So Torgan made a fake campfire once, like by taking a fan and blowing it up with streamers on it. So if you need an idea for a fake campfire, she's
Love it. Yeah.
got some experience there.
There we go. It'll be a really good time. And Christine?
Yep, and my December report is linked, I'm just gonna give you a couple highlights. One is, we did our Southeast superintendents, meet with our legislators once a year before the session starts, and we talk about things that are in schools, and we share information. We had our breakfast on the 8th, it went really well. We have great representatives, they listen, they understand. So the things just overall that we talked about, as a region, we're really excited about the Vermont Learning Collaborative, which we set up. It predates me, it was in the works under
McLaughlin.
yeah, Zach McLaughlin, it was his charge, but he got the rest of the superintendents on board. I happen to be on the board for the collaborative. We have, I think, 11 districts use semester funds to get it up and running. We've hired a director, we're offering professional development. Kim, who is the director, she is really working hard to develop relationships with agencies and individuals so that we can go to the collaborative to help us fill our staff shortages in particular areas, especially speech and language, OT. So we're up and running, we're very excited about that. We also have taken a position on literacy, which your whole state is really, and supporting the science of reading, which is, somebody said, isn't that around like 25 years ago? But yeah, this work has been going on for a long time, but we know that kids need systematic, explicit reading instruction, especially around phonics, and so we're supporting that. So those were just positive things we talked about. We covered building aid. As you know, all the schools in the state have been assessed, and we have received our assessment, so Larry's gonna summarize those and come to a future board meeting, share out. I don't feel like there were many surprises in ours, but some districts report that they were way off. What the report listed as needs or things that weren't necessary. There was also a report from the Career in Tech Education. We have a tech center in the Southeast region, and Scott Farr is the superintendent there, and he talked about the needs of career tech ed. And then the other concerns, which are ongoing, hiring and retention of professionals, mental health, and impact of the ESSER funding cliff, which is here.
Might
Which
see us later.
which is here. So Larry and I just recently attended a Vermont School Board and Vermont Superintendent Association training, which they haven't done before, but they're going to continue these in the future. And the theme was effective practices in school district fiscal planning and management, and it was really about planning for future budgets. And one of the big takeaways for Larry and most of the superintendents there was reading staffing rules. And when you have staffing rules in place, then you have to make some hard decisions. It takes the personal nature out of it. So in terms of staffing rules, an example would be, and we don't have many in place in this SU, but we do have class size. So our class sizes for K3 are under 20, and above that, under 25. So Larry's going to work with the principals this spring. We'll come back to you, but I think it won't impact this year, but in the future, I think it's going to be important to have those rules in place. So it could be, in terms of interventionists, like how how many students per group, how many groups a day are you servicing, so things like that. So we'll come back to you more on that, and that, the last slide I have is the quarterly report. It is in the portal, it's linked here as well. If you click on it, Lindsay. Once you scan it, you will see that if you go down to our last page. Of course, I can't see it myself. Oh, it's too much of it. Yeah. So, you will see that, all the revenues have not come in yet, which is why, look down to the very last page, you'll see a deficit. And that is because we just haven't, all the revenue hasn't come in yet, so Claire says don't panic, just that.
But he's encumbered everything, so that.
Yeah. Yep. And did I tell you he's written code where he just, I can't explain it, but he's written code, so he just presses a button and these quarterly reports come out. It takes them all 30 seconds now to do them, which is great.
It's awesome.
Yeah. And he's really good about getting them out and putting them in the portal, so. Can you answer questions about that? That's the end of that. On to the budget.
Christine, was there questions at the superintendent thing about sort of like budget and like what the state of Vermont and how they're handling sort of
That's that workshop we were at?
Yes.
Yeah, but it was more about understanding the new formula and how it works. Which there was the person in charge of all that budgeting who's just retired. He was there with his replacement attorney, her name. And they really talked through that process with us. So I left with a better understanding of how it works, but didn't get into
how this is affecting.
well, a little bit. It depends on, and we'll get into this, it depends on the new rates, right? We're using long-term weighted averages now, which is gonna benefit some schools and it's not gonna benefit others. And I think all of the schools.
Sounds like we're in the latter.
And we are, all the schools in Windsor Southeast will benefit, or it won't impact us in a negative way. So far, and we don't have all the information yet, but at this point, it looks good for.
And also when we were talking with the representatives, did that come up there as well? Like was superintendents talking about
The
budgets?
funding?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, the unfortunate part of it, I guess, is, this has been coming, this change has been coming, it's 425, now it's implemented, so we've been gearing up for it. But I think that the thinking is, it's gonna change. So we have this new process in place where if your per student cost is less than 10% increase, your tax rate will be capped at 5%, and that's for the next 5 years. So will it stay that way for 5 years? We don't know.
And also the buildings, because I know that so many schools in Vermont need new building. And a lot of towns are shooting down because it's so expensive because the way the tax system works and who actually pays for a new school.
Right.
Was that spoken about?
Yep. It was actually, well, Sherry wasn't there because that was her topic to cover, but she couldn't make it, a family emergency. So it was discussed that how is the state going to step in and help pay for these buildings that are not being part? Yeah, but nothing was answered. Yeah, I mean, the legislature's going to have.
But they know,
Rest of
like
the
somebody's
state.
doing this.
They do, yeah, they do. And as I said, our reps are great, they really, and there were a couple on the committee, that were there, so that was well. Yeah. Yeah, it's really nice, I mean, I went last year, but I presented a little bit this year, I was more involved. And it is a really nice relationship, and you get to know the legislatures, and you're not, you want to call them, which is really nice.
Yeah, so. So then in terms of the budget, we still don't have all of like the numbers and information, so. But the one question that I think Christine, if I'm correct. Yeah. Correct, is, right now, we're approximately $90,000 over its 10%. So I guess the question, as Ed gets those numbers, and I think it'd be safe to say that we will have it with a few budget versions by the 17th. Okay.
Yeah, he's waiting for CLA, and you haven't received that, right? Nikki?
No, I've got
Yeah. So he has everything but the common level of appraisal, and that could impact a little bit. But thinking what the estimate is right now is pretty good, and it is a little bit over the 10%. So you're gonna have to reduce the budget by $90,000 to stay under the 10%, under 10% increase per student, which will cap your tax rate at 5%.
And if we say, no, we can't cut this,
If you can't cut
this is what we.
then you'll have to defend it to a committee of 6 people, 3 superintendents and 3 people from the agency, I want to say. And you'll have to defend it. And then if you succeed in your argument with that case, you'll say, okay, then you'll receive the cap. If you don't, you lose the cap for the next 5 years.
And then it could be another.
Oh,
I mean,
the percent.
I think you should try to stay under the 2%.
And I think it's important to note that within that 90,000, over that 10% is the entire playground is still built within there. So that is currently there. So in terms of what, maybe some direction from you all of what you would like, Ed and I to get back to you with on the 7th.
So which scenario, for those of us that
Yeah.
haven't caught up on the meetings yet, which scenario are we talking about?
This is this is the scenario where everything is in the budget. Everything.
That includes like the 2 teachers.
Yes.
Correct.
And
Oh,
the playground.
That's better than last.
That's it, $90,000.
Yes, it's better.
What, okay.
Lindsay Perkins, can I ask you 2 questions? One, as someone whose family I sent a Lena March's state text of all of my family in front of the playground in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, where the front cover of your thing, I'll show.
Wait, it's in Lewisburg?
That my husband's family is from central Pennsylvania, and so we went to, that's where Play World is. It's right there, so anyway, so I took, yep. So that's literally the front cover of,
Wait, share, because I have to see Lewisburg.
okay, sorry.
That's amazing.
Yes, I will happily show it to you since you're not on the texting thing. But anyway, so like this is the front cover of the playground that they show on Play
Can you
World.
see this, Hannah? Wow.
So I'll send it to all of you guys. But what I was gonna say is last time we were here, the man, aka the town manager, who sat there, Martin, thank you, I couldn't remember, the man. As he spoke, and he was like, well, when we decided to do the, whatever, the building fund, what is that? The capital reserve, he was like, that's meant to be for like things that we don't want the taxpayers to have to like pay for. And so when we mentioned a new playground, all of a sudden he's like, that should be there. And so I remember him saying, and he's right, that, like the money that we have, because we've got a little bit of an overage from this year. He was like, put that in the capital fund and then the capital reserve, and then pay for the playground out of there, which then takes out what, $260,000.
But we can't use that overage until,
That overage is from the surplus from FY23, and apply that to your budget.
Okay.
So if you take
So it's
some,
used, you're gonna lose it.
yeah, but it's your decision. You can take some of that and put it in the capital reserve account,
but then we'd have to cut more than that.
then you have to come
Yeah.
back.
But, again, if the playground's in there, and there's, I don't know, there's like a little bit of me that feels like if the entire playground's in there, would we take out whatever overage was, put that in the capital reserve and pay for the playground, and we'd still be,
But then
we'd have to run the cut.
I thought Martin was saying he thought that the capital reserve was set up to cover emergencies, like the roof fails and you need a new roof or your boiler goes.
But we can't use the capital reserve without a vote, so we can't use it for emergencies.
Yeah, so I heard him say more things like, it's things that you don't want the taxpayers to have to pay for.
Well, I think it's an appropriate usage of those funds. It's just like, how much would we want to use it?
How much, do you know how much the overage is?
You have to reduce the budget by $90,000.
Yes.
Right, no, how much did we
Oh, the
save
surplus.
Yes,
last
how
year?
much did, yeah, what's the surplus?
I think it was 200 something.
Because how much is
From
the,
FY
so
'23.
I feel like we're still in the same ballpark, that we're at least using the right funds.
So
That makes it.
yeah, I hear what you're saying.
No, we
Share
don't.
No.
So we're.
And I mean, we're still applying for grants
Yeah.
too. There's one from the state of Vermont that is submitted to incorporate. But. Yeah. So there's that possibility, but it's just a possibility. So.
And the place, something around like grade two.
Is that in the budget spreadsheet that you guys have?
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
So if you put it, if you put it to capital reserve, you're still
Baby.
on town meeting day to approve those funds. Yeah. It's a separate article.
I don't notice about this town, but like, what's more favorable for a town? Like, to have, what would get this program passed, I guess? Is it to have something
It's fair.
on the side, like the capital reserve, or is it like just in the budget and, you know, school budget? Or is the school budget gonna get voted down because they're like, we don't wanna have to pay for a new playground, especially if you've got nothing for reserve. I don't know how, I don't know what you feel about that. I don't know if anyone.
What? Can you guys hear me? Am I too loud?
Oh, no, you're here.
I mean, I think, Heather, the thing is that if this year the dynamic's going to be a little different because if we're over the 10% increase, I think that will be very unappealing to the town. And it's going to require like a real pitch. Whereas, so it seems to me that this year in particular, staying under that 10% and then using capital reserve for the playground would probably be the most favorable to avoid the risk of having to go to committee and having the tax rate increased.
What,
But it sounds like we can fund part of the playground. You could do part of our own, and potentially part capital reserve.
That's kind of the way I'm leaning, and
We can do it over 2 years.
so here's,
You could,
yeah,
I
could
was
you
thinking
do it
about,
over 2 years?
you could do some of it over 2 years, the only challenging part would be, things are. So, you know, even just from what they were saying, he said January 1st is going to be the price increase, so that's so, yeah, so it could be done, but it will be more expensive for longer.
So, thinking bigger picture, we're only allowed to raise the budget by 10%.
Which we don't people cost.
Which is
We don't-
essentially your budget.
Right, but we don't want to do that. This year, it feels like we're there, like we're stuck here because of the way costs have worked out. I don't know what we're gonna look like next year, but if we take the playground, which is 250, then we're essentially lower in our budget by that amount, which
It's not good.
is not good. It isn't, it isn't, like,
Well,
it could hurt us in the long run.
point of a rule? The secret budgets, but that's our job.
So you think.
I mean, it's the only thing we do.
That's all I think, yeah, I'm control of this.
And policy.
Yeah.
But if we get it to like 9.99999%, we're still in.
You kind of, yeah.
So I feel like we have to get as close to that number as humanly possible. Because then that way we can still have all the things that we want. And
Yeah, it seems like, in my mind, it's actually just fundraising, right?
Well, or we, put in the capital reserve that we, like, put in a contribution of 100,000 from the capital reserve, 150 from the budget. And we can spend up to 100,000, but if we can fundraise, then we keep it.
Yeah, it's,
300.
609.
So, like, we can do,
But if you do that, you take money, you put some of the surplus into the capital reserve, you're gonna have to decrease the budget.
yeah, no, I'm not talking about putting, I'm talking about asking the voters for 100,000 out of the capital reserve, which brings us down by more than 90.
Because it's a,
And kind of in
Writing the language that says up to.
this much, so if you get a grant.
Yes.
And then we present and hope that we get we present to the taxpayers that, you know, we're really trying hard to get a grant, but we.
expectation of to the town for the new.
It's not accessible for another student. And right now, our students are not able because it's not big enough for them to be, I guess not, safe is not the right word, but it's, they're too, it's not appropriate, but definitely a lot of
So
it.
this would be designed for up to 8th graders.
And it would be accessible for.
And I think the idea is also that we create another location within the town that we want to spend time.
I used to put in the rec centers also. Yeah, true.
I remember that one being built.
Yeah, this is about 25, and the best guess that I could get was 25 years. That was from Lee John Samuel, who's been here that long, he's best guess is 25, and the playground expert said.
Yeah, I mean, I just, 15 years ago when I had a kid that was that age, I mean, we didn't come here because it wasn't interesting. A place to hang out as a family.
I guess my big question is like staffing wise, do you have everything you need? Like, I don't wanna see anything staffing wise cut in the expense of the playground. That's, for some reason you guys made it on one this year, between last meeting and this meeting.
Yeah.
No, we did, I'm dragging my
Yeah.
feet. It's really the one. And the way it works, not exact, but you get, for elementary students, one, right, they're, three, well, it's three. So your population ends up being greater than. So when you're dividing it out, you put the cost less.
Is it
I think this is a recognition of what we've been saying our students need for a long
That we
time.
are.
That we have these needs, and this is what we need to run a school. It seems good.
Yeah, some of it, there's a rural component. For that. incorporate that. No, but.
No, that's really encouraging. Compared to last.
Yeah.
Are we still waiting for a result?
We have to see how
Before we can sort of look at it.
before he has to have that number for the whole tax worksheet. So it was supposed to come by January 1. So.
I think it used to be January or December 15th.
Yeah, this year.
And they were like, hey, we'll say January 1.
So he should, I mean, he anticipates that, I mean, it usually goes to you and the town, Martin. Make sure that I'm, it's my manager, yes.
Who am I looking for?
He's the interim.
He's a, yeah.
And yeah, I mean, that's what Ed should have been. If he gets it from the town manager or.
I don't have
So,
anything.
the easiest thing we could do to like fix the 90,000 is take like 100,000 out of the playground. Put that as a special article, or take it out of the reserve. Yeah, that's another deal.
And continue to look for grants.
Yeah.
With the hope that we
And
can.
some fundraising.
When's the last time we did a big fundraising?
With fundraising campaign, people want to. And honestly, like, the root sale wasn't gonna buy the playground.
So I think that's,
Teacher appreciation.
yeah, I think there are plenty of people in this town that is a big wallets that I'm sure would be happy to donate money or put it in another back on. Is there anything that I think when you look the number.
Maybe that's what every time, because I just don't know. We could put something like that together, just. but- Yeah. I think we could do that. Yeah. All of it. Yeah. So we could have, but then thinking about the timing of that. But we could plan on, we can think about it, but.
Yeah, it could be an after the budget.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey. It is.
And you looked for grant funding. Did we, like, how much did some of those grants cover? What?
It's marginable, I applied for the state of Vermont. I think it was 50,000. I think there was another one our way this month, I don't know if that was going to be, yeah, it's got me one start.
It's a start.
It's a start, yep. And whatever the amount is of this other one that's coming in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aw.
Oh, did you see
There.
Oh,
There's some hair.
Man.
Oh, bring the baby over.
I know. Yeah, he's awake. We're still trying to make it to the 30 days without a fever. Avoid that.
That's a cute kid.
Okay, that's the most awake I've seen him. Oh, okay, we got totally sidetracked. We got him
Yeah,
out.
this kid gets about 47 kisses an hour, I'd say.
How can you not get?
Right. You might have to put your whole family in a bubble to avoid that fever.
I know. I'm too desperate for everybody to go back to school. Like, go. I need maternity leave.
Yep. Okay. Well, so it sounds like we're all kind of in the same direction. We know the CLA is gonna be horrific. But I think the whole state is horrific.
That's horrific.
So do you know what the CLA does?
I think so.
Okay, so the more the CLA is above, one is like, one means that everybody's properties are worth what like, what this town says they are. And so because property values have skyrocketed since 2020, and they've even come down a little bit, but they're still like way higher than they were. Because of that, everyone's CLA is off. So our CLA, I'm making up numbers right now, but our CLA may say that our, I can't remember which direction, it's over one.
I think you want it, yeah, I think there's around 80.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so like our houses are 80%. We're listing it at like 80% of the value of what a house really is. So like $100,000 house, we're saying that it's worth 80,000. That's really low. So then what the state does is that, oh wait, we need to get you to one, so we're gonna bump you up by this huge percentage to get you there, so that everybody across the state is at the same level. The problem is that and that way it makes it look equal, that every community in the state is paying at that new adjusted level. That makes sense? So that's what we're waiting on that number, but my assumption is that.
But how does that relate to the school budget?
So they're gonna bump up how much the community has to chip in. So the state is almost trying to get to a point where every house that's worth $250,000 is paying the same amount into the education fund. And so if they would have to bump us up by a certain amount to get to that point that everybody's paying in fairly. But I think if the entire state is getting bumped up, then that bump up is getting divided by the entire state, which means it's less for every individual town. Does that make sense?
And it just.
So like, yeah. But I think, like, I don't know of anybody that's, I mean, you would have had to have done an appraisal. Yeah,
Well, I think, yeah, and most of the towns in the state need to be reappraised.
Yeah.
And it's gonna take years to do it.
yeah.
So,
So what, I guess what I was saying is that like a few years ago, we were at one, or like, we were actually like 1.05, which was beautiful. So like, we were spot on.
Moment we assess.
When we did the last list.
Yeah, and even before then, like, we were not that far off. We were never this far off. So then, like, a town, I think Weathersfield at one point was like 0.78. So we were at one, and most of the rest of the state was at a reasonably good time, like good level. But then because they were so low, then they have a huge catch up to make. But if the entire state is at that level, it doesn't.
And it's a wash.
Yeah.
I assume it's a wash. But do we know that?
Well, it won't look like a wash because it'll make our, like, it's gonna be a big multiplier. But
Well, there's one pot of money.
I think, so I guess what I'm saying is that it'll look like a huge multiplier when we get the numbers from Ed, but I'm hoping that it doesn't change our tax rate from last year because we had that huge multiplier last year as well.
Like it should already, that jump should already occur.
Yeah, and because the entire state is dealing with that hit, it hasn't hit us. It'll look ugly on the paperwork, but
but either way, tax rates have to 5%.
Christian board is supposed to make sure that it's under the 10%.
10%, yeah. So Ed and I on the 17th, back of budget. Definitely with one that is a combination of some right around 100,000 to 100,000 from capital reserve.
Yeah.
Which would get us under that, assuming that would get us under the 10%.
and that seems, I mean, that seems like a pretty lofty but not unreasonable goal for fundraising.
Yeah.
Oh, 90?
No, the 100,000, not fun, but like grants. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
That's no problem.
Colleen, you're gonna take a piece of dark chocolate out of there.
Bring it to you.
I want to touch it.
Oh, I can take it out for you. But I'm not throwing it. Is that why you're sitting so far away?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is Christine's
17th, yep,
Yes.
17th, this is budget presentation.
Yeah, so we need to set an extra meeting for the 17th. Is soon 6 p.m.
You already
So I
said
put a hold in the calendar.
No, but we have to do it formally in this meeting.
Gloria said after we.
I'm in.
Okay, so, so we need to set an additional meeting on the 17th. Does that day work for most people?
Yes.
We'll
as
need
far as I
to,
know.
we'll need to approve a budget that night, because the, town report, we need to get the information to the town by the 18th. So,
By the
by the 18th, we checked today. So,
Hannah, does the 17th work for you? You can give me a thumbs up.
Yep, works for me.
Okay, awesome. And can I just say, I'm so impressed that you're here with what, like,
It's all budget.
he's 14 days old and you're here.
It's 2 weeks today. Yeah, I mean, I'm not
He's
there, but I'm,
But you're here, like, I'm just totally
It's the
impressed.
third child. Does it even exist? I don't know.
Okay, so, we'll do a roll call on the, you know what, we can just do an all call on that one.
for the 17th.
Yeah, unanimous consent, everybody
Yeah.
can just say aye. So everybody good with having a meeting on the 17th? Yep. Okay, good, we have a meeting on the 17th. Okay, so now we need to set the school board informational meeting, which is,
Usually the Monday or Tuesday right after break, typically when we got it.
I prefer not Tuesday night. Unless it's preferably.
that's our normal school board meeting.
I know, but it's like the one.
Not in the rotation, maybe rotation.
I don't remember, I feel like there's rules to it.
26. There is, an SU board meeting, yes. I think it's warned for 7 o'clock, right, the prior year,
Yeah.
so it's a 7 o'clock meeting at the town, at the hall.
Oh, and also Monday the 26th is Katie Burke's birthday as well. If you want to know.
I will, I'm out of town that week.
How we can make this? How we can make this meeting more exciting for people to actually show up? Because like last year was my first year of it. And I wouldn't say I was like super impressed with the amount of people that came because I think that was too.
Pretty good turnout.
Is that a good turnout?
That was a good turnout.
I mean, there's usually a couple of people. I mean, okay. I mean,
It's not a word to post it.
People
A lot
do,
of people watch it.
I get a lot of comments of people watching it. Especially that meeting. People, I think, partially after COVID, people actually are like, oh, I gotta go watch the school meeting. And so they actually do go back and watch it. And there's a lot of people that feel like they don't need to be there in person because they're just gonna get all the information afterwards. So I would say more people watch that meeting than watch this.
And there Tuesdays at work.
Does it have to be more than 7 days?
I think it has to be 7 days prior to
Yeah.
town meeting, which is March.
So I'm inclined, oh, yeah, we have to have a quorum. We don't have that, but we don't have Heather.
If you do it.
And
I think it's 7 days prior to the vote, which is the 5th.
so 7 days or work days? It's days.
I think it's 7 days.
is that a town appointment?
1, 4, 5, 6.
Because the town that I live in always is the night before
Yeah,
town voting.
and Legisfield does it on, is doing it on the 2nd, so I'm good with the town.
That was something,
What is the town? They do their presentation on voting day.
yeah, because they
Which
do
is
it on the
the
floor.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's, it was something that we got yelled at for one year.
Well, they yell at you for 6 days or something.
We got yelled at for having it
At the wrong time.
6:30
6
instead of
o'clock instead of 7.
7.
Oh, I lied. I forgot. It's wrong break. I'm not in.
Oh.
That's how much I'm moving.
Where are you going?
I need to. I'm chaperoning a 2-week trip.
I wanna go.
Of your own family? Oh.
That sounds like the best thing ever.
I would just get that.
5 kids and 3 adults.
Okay,
Yeah, so, sorry.
okay, so you'll be here. So, Heather, I'm inclined to hold it,
Okay.
Hold it whenever you want.
because we can't do it, we have the SU meeting on the Monday.
Yeah.
And there's no other meetings on that Tuesday?
Not the 27th.
Yeah.
And it's 7 o'clock.
Okay, so I think that, what day was that again?
Tuesday, February 27th. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay, 7 PM.
Do you want it to be all in person or hybrid?
I should have been hybrid. I think it was hybrid.
Yeah, I think it's hybrid. We wanted to try to get anybody. Yeah, it was hybrid.
Yeah.
Questions from.
And
It started at like 7, right?
Yeah.
Later, yeah.
Yeah.
Hybrid for the people. Not for us.
Right,
Yes.
in person for us,
Yeah, I know.
hybrid.
They're kind of interesting.
I'll just have Lori get it.
Should I reach out to Matt? Did Nikki be reaching out to Matt? I don't remember from last year.
To do,
To moderate it.
The school meeting?
was he elected at the last meeting? So it'd be Matt. Also to.
Do you want me to reach out to them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's reaching out to Matt? Can you reach out to Matt or do you want Liz?
I am doing it right now.
Okay, so then I'll just reach out to Martin to
Okay.
Are we doing the 27th?
What if I can't make it?
We'll just make this tentative and
Okay.
fix it at the next
Let me
meeting.
know.
Does he have a bunny spot over there? An assistant manager?
One of his kids. I help.
Great.
Okay, hold on.
Took me a long time to figure out.
Okay, so we'll do a vote. Since this is a more formal thing, I'll do a roll call on this. So we're voting for the school budget informational meeting to be Tuesday, February 27th at 7 PM at Damon Hall, and a hybrid for townspeople, but in person for the board. Second. So that was moved by Heather and seconded by Beth. Oh, okay, Colleen. Yeah, Colleen, you need to get your name in here as much as you can.
Those chances.
I know, yeah, we gotta let Colleen do everything. Well, she can. Okay, so we'll go with a roll call. Hannah.
Aye.
Colleen. Aye. Heather. Aye. Beth. Nikki. Aye. Okay, we are gonna move forward with that. If it doesn't work, we'll bring that up in the next meeting.
Okay. So you want to I'll have Lori get it going and we can change it if needed. Okay.
Okay, so we need to set the next agenda.
The 17th is just.
The 17th is just a budget meeting.
February should be the run through of the budget.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so the February meeting,
Maybe a little update on the activities.
okay, so budget run through, winter activities. Um, what else? I feel like there's more and it's just not coming to me.
I think the budget runs will take a while.
Yeah,
We have to, I know, we're voting on the budget on the 17th.
yeah. We'll have a student update. Okay. Um, and, okay, so, thank you.
Did we just finish the meeting?
I think we might have. We don't need an executive session, right? Okay. So all those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Oh, wait, I guess I need to move it. Whatever.
So moved.
Aye, second.
Holy moly, who thought we'd finish in an hour?
With a baby.
I know, with a baby, that we spent at least 2 minutes Googling over. Okay, well, I told my family. Oh, he's talking to us.
I don't know when we'll be.
Hi, Julia.
Actually, his name is Max.
That's what it was. I asked Theo right before break, and he's like, no, his name is Max.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, Theo.
Oh, hold on.
Oh,
I thought I did it.
There you go.
We did tell him that he can call him whatever he wants.
There you go.
There you go.
It's like, you know, it's Max.
He said maybe he'll become a grown up and people will say, oh, what's your name, Max? They'll say, what is that short for? And he'll say, I don't know. That's just what my brother called me. My real name is Julian. My brother called me Max.
That totally sounds legit.
Yeah.
And that may stick.
What's his middle name?
Francis.
Francis. So maybe you should just change his middle name to Max. Julian
Yeah.
Max.
Might be what we have to do.
Max. And then Max is short for Francis.
Okay. Well,
See
you later.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Get some sleep.
bye.
I guess I know.
Take
We kind of just voted and then just.
You can.